everybody, welcome back to another movie review. Hope you guys been enjoying the content on the channel as of late. Excuse me, as I just got out of the theater. Just getting situated here. So just got out of the theater and just got out of seeing Challengers, which was directed by Luca Guadagnino, who we've discussed on this channel before with his last film, I think, was Bones and All, which I wasn't that big of a fan of. Decided to check this one out because even though I'm not super familiar with his work, I only am familiar with That Bones and All. I haven't seen, incidentally, Call Me By Your Name, which is his most famous piece, and his remake of Suspiria, which I actually am curious to check out. But aesthetically, he's always had a flattering sensibility. So I decided to check this one out mainly for that, and just word of mouth, I've heard some good things. Stars Zendaya as, I believe the name is Trisha. I could be wrong. She is she's not a pro tennis player, but she's pretty much, pretty good at tennis. And she catches the attention of two boys, both of which they're trying to make pro and trying to better themselves in the game of tennis. And they meet up at a party one day, and they all get a little bit entangled, and basically that of a threesome. And what follows from that is a battle, or at least a tug of war between who will earn her approval, essentially, who will get with her, who will, catch her eye and all that sort of stuff. And she pretty much plays with these two as pawns for her own benefit. And really what the film boils down to ultimately is, on the surface, that of loyalties and betrayals. It's pretty frank when you watch the film. But it's also that of an examination of narcissism. Because Zendaya's character is fueled by narcissism. But the very beginning of the film, when you are introduced to her in that specific scene, that intimate scene happens, you pretty much get the impression that she is a narcissist, because she is playing these two for her benefit and utilizing them only for leverage, for maintaining a certain status quo within the tennis court, keeping a name alive, keeping a certain value close to her chest, and using these two to her advantage. And with that as the setup, and ultimately that of just the film, that being of just these two, pretty much these just two dogs just trying to gain ownership of this one person, because they pretty much are obedient in certain respects, one being very obedient, that of which the other being kind of rebellious and prickish, without using a proper word, but still to a certain measure being obedient. Like that being the overall foundation of the film, I just found it incredibly unappealing, because for one thing, I don't see the intrigue between like love triangles. Like I don't understand the sort of like investment or sort of intriguing storytelling that could be found from it, because at the end of it, everybody is pretty much a prick to some extent in that sort of relationship, or that sort of setup, and it is in that everybody in this film is not likable. None of the characters I found appealing. Performance-wise, they're fine. They're decent performances. But I just could not get behind just what is the story. It's just not an appealing story for me. I also found just the craftsmanship by Luca Guadagnino to be very clashing in this. He's using a lot of different techniques, a lot of different POVs, even right down to the tennis ball, seeing it go back and forth, and then actually using the POV of the actual person, plus multiple slow-mos and different angles. Like he's, playing with so many different techniques in this, to the point where it just feels more of an exercise in that, and less so, again, with meaningful developments and more appealing characterizations, I must say. Because what really spoke to me the most about Challengers was the music. Because the music, I feel, is the best illustration of the sort of manner that the film has, in that I think that it just really isn't taking itself that seriously. It feels like a comedy. It feels as if it's constructed to be a comedy, as if it's sort of self-aware, but I really don't believe it actually is. It wants to be taken seriously, but it has this very youthful mentality, kind of operating that of like a 20-year-old's like type mindset with like hip hop music, and using it in a very um, very unmannered fashion. The sort of utilization of the music, and what I've said, how I think it doesn't take itself seriously, is that when it comes to those intimate sequences, instead of removing the music or actually examining these sort of dilemmas in a um, more sincere manner, more realistic manner, it utilizes this pop music more to just illustrate their horniness for each other, the sort of attraction that Zendaya has for this person and that person in specific moments. Um, and it comes off just more pornographic and not as disciplined or as informative. So I found it to just be just like I said, pornographic. Like it's the utilization of just these three, and just the shots of just like of them generally, but from head to toe. There's like shots of their legs and shots of like Zendaya's butt. Like there's just, it just comes across more or less pornographic, but again, probably using the skies of artistry to cover that sort of mentality up. Um, but I don't see it that way. I see more or less just a study of narcissism, and I don't think the film itself ultimately knows of that. I would give it marks if it was more self-aware in that regard, but I don't believe that it actually is. I do believe that it thinks of its drama to be actually sincere and to be conflicting, in that we're not sure who to root against or root with. I just could care less about anybody in this movie, least of all that of Zendaya's character. Again, performances, fine, they're not bad, but it's the characterizations, the developments, the characters that they are playing are despicable. I just could care less about anybody in the film. And with that being the center point of the film, is this chemistry, is these three performances. Though they're acted well, I generally just could care less about the story altogether. And with that, my detachment was just my attachments were just extremely, extremely thin. I started just taking notes, and I actually considered walking out a couple times, just because I really just was at some point really getting annoyed by just the constant wave of like this constant wave of just mindless and narcissistic quality that the film is presenting to me. Because it's more like concerned with technicality, more concerned with just a certain flair, and I just feel as though that it's not completely appropriate or completely in service to the characters, creating more appealing characters as a result. It just lessens them and makes them more and more despicable and harder to really care about and harder to really get invested into, and thus the story itself is lacking in that sort of appeal. So I really could care less, and I just walked out of it now, just like okay, whatever. So yeah, I really could care less, and I am actually genuinely shocked by the reviews, by the reception of the film. Based on the trailer, I just found it also odd, but I gave it a chance, and my suspicions, my fears came true of what I felt the film was going to be, and then some. So yeah, so those are my thoughts on Challengers. I could care less. I thought it was just very disposable, very pornographic, like I said, very horny, and I don't believe that it had to be that way. And that is not appealing to me. For a lot of people that might be appealing, this sort of hormonal, like the sort of responses that it wants to get out of you. I don't find that comforting or informative or investing or interesting. I just find that more or less concerning for the overall filmmaking and the storytelling. It doesn't do anything for me. And if anything, it makes me more against the film than with it. So I don't find like sexiness in film to be generally warranted. Um, so because I don't find the film sexy, I find it annoying. And a lot of the time also just boring. So those are my thoughts on Challengers. You guys know your thoughts on Challengers if you guys have seen it. Doing fairly well for a start at the box office. Was expecting way less. I mean, not great, but better than expected. But you guys know your thoughts on Challengers in the comment section below, and your thoughts on Luca Guadagnino as a filmmaker. Should I check out Call Me by Your Name? Does it share any characteristics like this? I mean, hopefully not, because I really was kind of, I wasn't detest by it, but it started to annoy me. I became more infuriating as time went on. So you guys let me know. Does it share similar characteristics, certain behaviors? Let me know. And generally speaking, with Luca Guadagnino, let me know all your things, all your thoughts, Luca Guadagnino and Challengers in the comment section below. And your thoughts on Zendaya also as a performer. Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section below. And that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. And until then, I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye.